Friends, before we dive in, I want to extend an invitation into something sacred that could be part of your unfolding. I'm hosting 3 Angel Reiki schools upcoming in person September 19th, November 7th, January 23rd. Those are all the dates when they start. When you join, you don't just receive one certification, you're initiated into 3 in the Angel Reiki School: mediumship, energy healing, and becoming an angel messenger yourself. This is a one-stop sanctuary where all of your spiritual gifts are activated and grown together, your unique gifts. People are called to this program for so many reasons. Some are searching for a second career that is deeply fulfilling, one where they can witness lives transformed through the creative, soul-led work that they're putting out into the world, one that starts with the Angel Reiki School. Others feel the longing to create an income that supports the life they've always dreamed of: more time freedom, the ability to take family vacations, to be there walking their children to school and be there when they get home from school, to make the memories that matter most in this life. I often remind my students to say out loud, I am a high 6-figure angel medium. Time and time again, they come back to share how claiming that vision and going through the Angel Reiki School has opened new doors to financial abundance, radiant joy, and the freedom to live life on their terms. Yes, it does take devotion to build your own business, but the Angel Reiki School is where you begin. You might not yet understand why your soul is being pulled here, but once you step in, I promise you'll feel it. The remembering, the recognition, the sense of coming home. And because the Angel Reiki School weekends are so intimate, so wonderful, alumni love coming back, that you don't have to, but they love the energy so incredibly much. They asked to come back. So we did include an alumni option where you can. But because the Angel Reiki School weekends are so intimate, half of our in-person dates sell out. So if you feel that stirring in your heart, trust it. Save your space now. I keep our groups small on purpose so that I get to know every single one of you well, and join us for one of the upcoming Angel Reiki School weekends. Remember, that's in September, November, or January. All of them start on a Friday evening at 6 p.m. and all of them end by Sunday, somewhere in between 12 to 2. You can register at theangelmedium.com/get certified. Step into the Angel Reiki School today and begin to embody your spiritual gifts to the fullest expression. Everyone who joins the Angel Reiki School gets access to both the online and in-person school. Join today, theangelmedium.com. Now, here's today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius. Friends, I have heard of this next guest since 2006, been a huge admirer of his work. He's just such a soul-led being. I think he's known as one of the top spiritual teachers alive in the world today. You might have seen him in the movie The Secret. He's founded the Agape International Spiritual Center. Michael Beckwith, thank you so much for being on the show. And then I got to introduce Henry too.
It's my absolute joy to be with you and to be with you both on this magnificent day. Thank you for welcoming me.
Of course. And just so the audience knows, we're here with Henry Penix as well. He is the founder and CEO of Soaak Technologies. Henry, is it okay for me to say, I think I've done readings for all of your family?
Yeah. I think you have for a few. My dad had 7 brothers and 7 sisters. So when you say all of your family,
Not
that's
all.
about 180.
I think that there's about 5 out of there. Yes.
Yes,
The
you
immediate family.
Yes.
And I mean, there you go. Yeah, you're a trusted friend. I'll put it that way, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you right back. I can't wait for everybody to hear about Soaak frequencies. Michael, I have to start out with some questions. So, if the community isn't familiar, maybe they're just diving into spirituality. I was in the airport, I think in 2000, when I was approached by somebody or sat next to somebody who was teaching me about manifestation, turned on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2006 and saw that you were going to be in this movie, The Secret, and just shared that movie with everybody, 20 years ago, because it was such a groundbreaking piece of just information to come into the world at that time. And I've always been curious about your relationship with angels, what you think about angels, what you
Mm.
believe about angels, and if you have any experiences with angels.
First of all, the movie The Secret, it still has legs after all of these years. When I travel around the world, people will come up to me and says, "Oh my God, I remember you on The Secret. You changed my life. I started following Agape after that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And it still goes on. I mean, there is a new generation that's now
Mhm.
discovering The Secret. And I think I've been in more movies than any other spiritual teacher. So there's a lot of movies that I've been in. So when I first did that movie, I was speaking at Agape, and Rhonda Byrne, who was the director of that,
Mhm.
was arriving from Aspen, where they had filmed it, and she had a layover in Los Angeles. And so she comes to Agape, and she hears me speak, and she says, "Oh, I'm doing this movie. Would you be in it?" And I had been
Wow.
invited to be in it, but I couldn't make it to Aspen at the time. I said, "Sure." So we set up the screen right there about a couple of hours later, and she began to ask me these
Oh,
questions. And then she said,
Wow.
"Oh, you know what? I'm not going to ask you any more questions. Just teach us." He filmed, and the rest is history. It was my joy to be in that groundbreaking movie, as you indicated.
yeah.
And as far as angels as concerned, absolutely, the angelic realm is extremely real. It's very real. The ancestral realm is real. The realm of God is real. And I'll share one. I have a couple of stories, but I'll share one. A number of years ago, I was on staff at the mayor's office in Los Angeles. I worked for Mayor Tom Bradley, and I was assigned to the 8th Councilmanic District to handle the senior citizen affairs at that time. And we started what is called the Golden Age Senior Citizen Resort. I was there running that organization, and there was a young man. At that time, we would call the kids at risk. We would take them in and train them, this type of thing. And I had a 57 Cadillac that I was restoring. I pulled into work and he comes up to me and he says, "Mr. Beckwith, your carburetor is off. Can I fix it? I'm really good with my hands and I know how to do this." And I said, I don't know, maybe. And he begged me. So suddenly a gigantic angel appeared behind him. It was very tall. It even had wings. And the angel crossed his arms and went like this, "No." And I was shocked. First of all, I was shocked to see this angel. And then I was shocked that he said no. So I went to the other side of the car because I was looking into the sun to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. So now I'm not, now the sun's to my back and the angel is still standing there. And the angel is shaking his head, "No, no, no." So I tell the young man, "No, I'm not going to allow you to do this." And he's begging me. And I've said, "No, I don't think so. No." I'm not telling him I see an angel. I'm just
Yeah.
saying no. And so he's so begging me. I said, "Maybe, maybe, maybe. I don't know. But right now, no." So I leave. The next day I come to the office. Everyone in the office is crying. And I say, "What's wrong?" That night, he had been killed by a guard as he was breaking into a car parts store. I don't know if he was breaking into the car parts store to get parts for my car or whatever, but the security guard killed him.
Wow.
And I remember I was full of grief and I couldn't reconcile the fact that if I had said no, he had not broken into the car parts store, or was that his destiny anyway? But
Yeah.
this is what happened for me. After that angelic presence, I remember my no's became no's and my yeses became yes. And I didn't dwell in the lukewarm space of maybe. And
Mm.
I had to get over the grief of this young boy being killed. But I remember that presence saying no, like that. That changed the
Wow.
trajectory of my inner. So if I get a no, it's just no, even if I don't understand why it's a no.
Mhm.
And if it's a yes, it's a yes, even if I don't logically know why I'm saying yes, but I try not to dwell in between. So that
Mm.
was a real angelic presence. I've experienced more, but I'll start off with that one. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautiful soul, I just want to take a moment and say I am so excited to share something truly sacred with you. This October, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we'll gather for the Women's Retreat. 3 days of deep rejuvenation, angelic connection, and soul remembrance. If you've been feeling disconnected, unsure of your future, or longing for something more, this retreat was created just for you. Imagine stepping away from the weight of daily life into an energetic sanctuary where you're held, supported, and guided back to the truth of who you are. Here you'll laugh, release, and reconnect with your soul's deepest yearnings. This is your time to reconnect with your angels and awaken to the next chapter of your journey. And because I never want finances to stand in the way of a retreat, I've created a scholarship option just for this retreat. If your heart is called, this space, friends, I promise it's awaiting just for you. Come join us at theangelmedium.com/retreat. Say yes to your soul, say yes to your angels, say yes to this retreat. Questions? Email me at julie@theangelmedium.com. And now, here we go, back into the show. One of the biggest questions that people ask me, and I'm interested to hear in how you would answer this, is how do you truly know with certainty what's the difference between your soul's voice, your intuition, and what's your egoic mind or your ego?
The soul's voice, the spiritual voice, when you're being led and guided, it doesn't exclude anybody and it benefits everyone. The egoic voice may be a little selfish. It may be things that you want, but it may not carry, and it's a little grosser. It may not carry the vibration of everybody benefiting. It may just benefit you. Whereas
Mhm.
the spiritual voice benefits everyone. It doesn't take from anyone. It doesn't hurt anyone. It benefits everyone because we're all connected at this from the source of all creation by whatever name you call that. And so through spiritual practice of prayer, meditation, etc., you're able to discern the difference between your lower self voice, if I can use that language, and your higher self voice, which is always generous. It's always compassionate. It includes everyone. And so there are individuals that even have the ability to manifest, but oftentimes what they're manifesting is their egoic desire,
Mhm.
and it includes getting things, hoarding, etc. It may not include everyone. We see that in the world today. And
Yeah.
so I would just summarize it that way very quickly.
Yeah. I'm interested. They say that when it comes to how we hear our intuition, some people can see visually within their mind, some people can't. Some people can hear auditorily, some people can't. Um, I feel vibration. I've always felt energy. I can feel when something's very high vibrational, and I can feel when there's just kind of a nothing, no energy to it. Can you feel vibration?
Yeah, but I have a strong feeling nature as well. And I'm also guided in dream
Yeah.
state. And I'm guided with sometimes a word, it's a vibrational word. Many years ago, as I was about to have I didn't know at the time, but I was about to have a very big spiritual awakening. I was in a meeting and a voice behind me said, if you were to take over the world tomorrow, would the world be any different? And when I looked around, there was no one standing there. And the
Mm,
voice said it again, but it was inside of my own being. And I realized that the people I was associating with at that time, I could see the pathology of them. And I
mhm,
realized we weren't going to be great world changers because the pathology of everyone hadn't been healed yet. It was
mhm,
shortly after that I had a major spiritual awakening that shifted the course of my destiny.
mhm.
And I began to pursue, the spiritual path, just like that was the only path that existed. I hear it in different ways. And it's not hearing with the ears, it's
Mhm.
just hearing with my entire being.
Would you say, when it comes to all spiritual teachers, that it operates the same, that they have to wait sometimes for the answer? It's not always immediate?
But I'll say that the answer is immediate, but we may not be ready in any
Yeah.
given moment. For the presence is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So it's always glowing and beaming with itself. Sometimes, as you are about to go to sleep, you can say, if this is right for me, let me dream in green. If this is
Mm.
wrong for me or not yet, let me dream in red. And your higher self will allow for a tint of green or
Mhm.
allow for a tint of red because your higher self operating through your subconscious will guide you. And so you just have to be, so I tell people to ask that. And then they'll say, oh, I got a red. I'm not supposed to do that right now. Or I got a green. It's all systems go. So I would say that the presence is always being itself, but are we available in any
Mhm.
given moment?
Tell us one of your coolest dream stories where you had an answer come through dream.
Oh my, well, my spiritual awakening, my as an adult,
Yeah.
was from a lucid dream, and
Mm.
and I was actually this dream had been going on for months, and it culminated with I saw these three men chasing me, and when I looked to my right, there was a small tent with thousands of people trying to fit into it. I knew every single person in line. And I said to myself, these people can't hurt me because all of my friends are with me. And then one by one, they turned their back on me. Two of the men held me down, and one man plunged a knife into my heart. And the pain was excruciating physically and emotionally. And I died. And when I woke up, I could see the beauty of the presence everywhere. And I could feel the love penetrating my being. And my life was never the same. So I actually died in this lucid dream. And then, there's I get prophetic dreams and things of that particular nature, and I have to sometimes interpret them. But when I go to bed at night, and if I'm about to speak the next day at Agape or something, I will ask for wisdom and guidance. And in the dream state, I'll get a sentence.
Mm.
That sentence will become the foundation of my talk,
Yeah.
and it'll build around it. I may not get the whole talk, but
Yeah.
I'll get the entry to it. And then once I start rolling with it, then the information starts to flow. So I do a lot in the dream state.
What spiritual practices do you find open your heart the fastest or other people's hearts?
My foundational practice is meditation.
Hmm.
And I define meditation as the ability to pay attention to that which is real, capital R, real. I meditate every day. I do certain breathing technologies that stabilize my nervous system, so allows me to have a level of coherence around peace or love or joy, harmony, guidance. I do life visioning, which is a technology that I originated a number of years ago. But I live in I try to live in a question because the universal presence by law will answer any question that you ask. Most people ask disempowering questions. Why me? Why is this going wrong? What's wrong? That type of thing. So I'll ask, how does it get better than this? I'll ask, what great good is trying to happen in my life now? I'll ask, why is my life working so beautifully? I'll ask, why am I so
Yeah.
prosperous? And the universe will start to answer that question. It'll create a level of coherence biologically in your body. You'll create different tonic chemicals. The same thing that happens when you put on the Soaak technology. You create different chemistry of your body will change, and you'll become more receptive to wisdom and guidance. But I invite people not to ask disempowering questions, to ask an empowering question, and then let the universe answer it.
I have flowed between, just kind of studying manifestation. And I had an experience where my dad passed away and I was
Mm.
working in the corporate world and I started hearing from him before I was told that he had passed because we were estranged at the time. As I've played with this over time, it really does feel like, I think a lot of people still think it's so woo or just like not real. But when you really allow yourself to just be in the positive. It's easy for me to go into a negative space, and the more you let yourself fall into that well, the harder it is to climb out. But the more work that you do on yourself to keep yourself in that positive space, it's really all life is just what we create out of it, right?
What I teach is that most people don't have an encounter with reality. They only have an encounter with their thought or belief about reality that produces their experience. But when you start to really come to an understanding that this presence of love and beauty and intelligence is for us, it's
Mhm.
everywhere, and you start to have encounters with that, it's not just positive, it's affirming. Life is affirming itself. Life never contradicts itself. And so we have different modalities that allow us to be in tune with the affirmative nature of life, which is why, Henry and I hang out so well together because he has powerful technology that I love. I have spiritual practice, and you
Yeah.
combine intention,
Hmm.
you combine spiritual practice, you combine high technology, man, you're flowing.
Amazing. Yes.
Slow motion, like you say.
Yeah.
Henry, Soaak is so cool. Explain to everybody what it is that you guys do, the membership that you have. You've created this technology of frequency that works with a person's being to bring them back to their soul self, healing energies, healing frequencies. The military uses as well.
We're very happy to see the day come where the things that used to be considered a little woo, which were frequencies that you couldn't really get your head around, now they can measure with quantum computing and with the different things that we have now that actually measure energy fields, and knowing we can measure the field from our heart out, 3 to 6 feet beyond our body. All those things have intersected in time with technology, with a Michael Beckwith, with the military, that all aren't supposed to be in the same sandbox, but somehow they are,
Mhm.
like right now. And it's a very exciting time. Just the quick 2 minute story: we created frequencies out of a clinic about 9 years ago, and a lot of our modalities, people were using massage therapy, cranial, sacral work, just a bunch of different modalities to get better, to help a person be relieved of anxiety, depression, low energy, low libido, hormone imbalances, all those things. And we found that, some people could not take supplements, some people were resistant to certain treatments. But when we let them listen to frequency compositions, which is not just a single frequency, it's not me telling you just listen to, 432 hertz. This is a composition of 5 to 25 frequencies that come together that will for an intended outcome. So if somebody came into our clinic and they had problems with depression or anxiety or low energy, we could actually give them a frequency composition that we had put together over time, that's been tried and tested, clinically proven, for that outcome. So we began marketing that, we began addressing that, we began growing our library. We began inviting different speakers on to talk about them and things like that. And over time, we're now at a point where we're working for our third contract with the military. We've got amazing people like Michael Beckwith. He's actually our director of mindfulness for the entire corporation, and making so we're in 190 countries now. So we came from actually it originated in San Diego, with my daughter, my son-in-law, and different things we were doing in that area. Moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, because that's where we have a lot of family, and we were in 2 or 3 countries. After we were on Michael's podcast, we were in like 100 countries, and now we're in 190. So, God has really blessed it. It's been just an amazing journey. And then being able to share it with people like you and your audiences who are not just caught up in the physicality of things, but are truly spirit, mind, and body. Because spiritually, if you don't address that first, you haven't addressed anything. So we're very happy of where we are today.
I've got frequency questions. I've also got future questions. Michael, I got to get your opinion on this. How do you love those who harm others?
Well, when we understand that love is not just sweet, sentimental, romantic, that love is the total givingness of the spirit without any sense of withhold at all. So it's a transpersonal love. It's not personal, it's transpersonal, which means we may not like what the individual is saying or doing. They may be very destructive, they may be very mean, they may be very stingy, whatever the case may be, but who they are, the essence of them is still God. And so through spiritual practice, you're able to separate the being from what they do or what they say or what they think. If we look at the great teacher, he said in substance, bless those that curse you, pray for those that despitefully use you, is bless and love your enemy. That's called heavy lifting. That's going into the weight room and really getting down. And that's real spiritual practice because it's easy to love those you like. It is difficult to love those you don't like. But that's where the spiritual practice is. So when we look out upon on the world and we see calamity, we see chaos, we see wars, we see rumors of wars, we see all manner of things. Those are the things that have come to pass. They're passing through our collective consciousness because the genesis of those things that are occurring is a sense of separation, a sense of people not knowing who they really are. They've forgotten themselves. They have forgotten that we're all brothers and sisters. And so in that forgetfulness, they do destructive things. And so in order to really change the world for the better, we have to rise up and actually see what's within an individual so it can be activated. Now, I had an individual I had the privilege of working with many years ago, Ram Dass. He invited me to do workshops with him, and we co-worked, we did some things together. And he had a particular spiritual practice. He not only had the saints on his altar, he would take individuals that were dictators, individuals that were presidents, that were doing heinous things, and put those beings on his altar as well. So that when he fell prey to hating them or disliking them, or he would ask for the power to see the Christ in them, even though they couldn't see the
Wow.
Christ in themselves.
Wow.
And so that was heavy lifting. And so when we look out upon the world and we see destruction and we see individuals operating from greed and pseudo power, there are brothers and sisters who have lost their way. I call them the lesser of us, not that their consciousness, their perception is very limited, but they have pseudo power. But if we don't see the Christ within them or the Buddha mind or the mystic, how is the world going to change? So it calls upon us. One of the things I teach the practitioners at Agape is when we look at the news and we see destruction happening, the news is actually a call. It's a deep prayer request call. It's not to look at it and say that's real because it's not real. It's temporary. The world is calling us to pray so that we can see reality, so that we can actually influence the world.
How do you think that we build heaven on earth? Is that our mission right here, right now, is to build heaven on earth?
Absolutely. I teach that we're not here to be ascended masters. We're here to be descended masters. That is, we've come from the absolute. We're to remember who we are and then to bring those higher frequencies to the planet, not to escape and leave. Oh, I got to get rid of this, got to get through this veil of tears and get away. No, we've chose to be here to do what? To remember who we are. We're vibrational beings, to raise our frequency to the frequency of love, kindness, compassion, generosity, and to bring it to the planet. And if more and more people do that, we're going to change the world. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I'm wondering too, Michael, when it comes to this technology, this AI that we know is just going to ramp up, it kind of feels like the energy of 1999 where everybody had that fear of Y2K, fear of it. I don't have any fear with it. I don't think that this technology is God itself. I think that there are some tech people like the tech bros who might kind of feel that way, but it seems like we're paralleling a spiritual awakening with this technological advancement. What do we need to know about this?
Well, a couple of things. One, as we're talking about here, science and technology is catching up with what the great mystics have been saying for centuries. That we're all connected. We're a singular manifestation of a cosmic unfolding. And technology is basically just feeding back to us that basic truth. So when you talk about AI is actually, it's programmed by a human being. So it's progressing, it's unfolding. It still has flaws in it because it's programmed by a human being. So what I like to remind people is that who we are as a spiritual being, and we have this brain, this is what we have, and who we are is greater than any technology that will ever be created.
Right.
And what we don't want to do is so rely on it that we atrophy our own potential.
Mm-hmm.
That you can actually meditate, you can actually activate potential within yourself that's
Mm-hmm.
greater than any computer whatsoever. So I would say definitely use AI, definitely use all the things to assist you in your unfoldment, but do not neglect development of your own potential. So, like for instance, I have right now I have Focus playing on Soak right now, sitting
I
here
love
right
it.
here. It's Focus, and so it's assisting me in just being focused right here and right now. It's not stopping me from the activation of my potential, but it's
Mm-hmm.
assisting me in lifting my vibration. So I'm actually focused right here, right now, with both of you, and so it's
Right.
the right use of technology. So there are a lot of people that are relying so much on AI that they're not even doing their own spiritual practices anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so what happens is they're developing a crutch.
Yeah.
And if that were to suddenly go away, they would not know how to think anymore or to be their full self. So I say it's very useful, it's very beautiful. Obviously, it's programmed by human beings, so there's flaws in it. However, it's very useful, but do not neglect the unfoldment of your own soul through your own spiritual intentionality and your own spiritual practice.
Yeah, and Michael, that's kind of like what text was to phone conversations. Like now, if I can just text you, I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to look at you. I barely know what to say if I meet you face to face because I've been texting so much. So that's kind of how one technology can take over more of what we rely on being inherently spiritual. And I've only said this on one other podcast, but you know, Christ, I believe Jesus Christ was the first quantum model because he was physical, where he could only be with one person at a time, and then he said, "I must go away, and I'm going to send back the Comforter, which we call the Holy Spirit, that will lead and guide you in all things." So the Holy Spirit can now be anywhere, anytime, which is the quantum model, and the same vibrational voice, Michael, as you have said, that in the beginning said, "Let there be." Now we are, and so it's made full circle. One has proved the other.
Yeah, I like what you're saying because when Jesus said, "As I am lifted up, I draw all unto me," as he goes
Yeah.
into a higher frequency,
Yes.
he draws to
Yes.
the highest frequency always wins. He draws. And then when he talks about in my father's house are many mansions, I go and prepare a place. Now we would say in this unified field of awareness of infinite potential, infinite possibility, I go into a higher frequency. And
Yes.
I'm not going to come down, but I'm hanging there
Right.
and drawing you into this higher
And
frequency.
there's a place for you.
Yeah.
It's an infinite place. So that means the mysticism and the science are now saying the same thing.
Right.
Unified field of awareness, infinite potential, infinite possibilities, highest vibration wins. And through your choice, through spiritual practice, you can vibrate higher. Yeah.
Hmm. So good.
There's a lot of spiritual teachers who are kind of up and coming who listen to this podcast. And I wonder a couple of different things. What would you tell them? People who really feel called to lead others home to their soul self. What does this journey for them look like over the next 20 years? And how is that different from it was before?
I would make sure that they're actually yielding or being summoned by a calling and not just an ego desire to be a teacher, that it's a real calling, it's a real summons from your soul. Two, this is the easiest time in human history to wake up,
Mhm.
primarily because, we've gone from tribalism to past pseudo patriotism to global consciousness. Now we have a galactic and cosmic awareness. All of that is infusing in the field of humanity. So it becomes easier now to break out of the matrix, so to speak, and to wake up. Years ago, you had people, you had Buddha, you had Jesus, you had Kuan Yin, localized spiritual mystics in a local consciousness. It's still, as Henry was saying, it's now quantum. But now with the internet, with Wi-Fi, with all these things, we have there's a time in which we're living that we can pop out of the matrix because the field is rich. You
Yeah.
have Soaak Technology, the field is rich. So it's not going to take like many lifetimes to wake up. I say you can wake up in one lifetime if you're sincere, if you have strong intentionality coupled with spiritual practice, right use of technology. You don't have to do many lifetimes. In
Mm.
this lifetime, You can wake up right now. And what does waking up mean? It means you're able to tell the difference between the content passing through your awareness and you as pure awareness. There's content, just like the ocean has content. It has plankton, seaweed, pollution, fish, but it's not the ocean. We're pure consciousness. We have content. We have traumas, dramas, beliefs, opinions, points of view. All that stuff is not who we are. That's passing through. So through meditation, the right use of technology, you can see the difference. And when you see the difference, that's waking up.
Do you think that there is a frequency beyond unconditional love, or is unconditional love the highest frequency that is?
Unconditional love is extremely high. On the Hawkins scale, it vibrates around 570, but there's 600, 700, 800, where you go into a unitive state of awareness. And it's still love, but there's no subject and object. I am you and you are me on a spiritual level. And it's a communion with the love that's everywhere. So I know we're probably, mixing words here, but it's a very high state. Yeah.
Yeah, I think unconditional love is obviously right up there with gratitude, thankfulness, things like that. You can't be hateful and grateful at the same time. I always think about that. But I also think there is a spiritual being that all emanates from as well. Has anyone been there? Has anyone seen that? Has anyone been at a frequency higher than unconditional love? Maybe sometimes in lucid dreams. Maybe, I don't know if this body could even handle that, this physical body. But I don't close my mind to the fact that there are higher vibrational frequencies out there.
I want to go in two directions. People should know that Soak can help, right? And bringing people into that high vibrational frequency. I'm just wondering, Michael, how do you use it in your day as an aid to shift between being in oneness with all that is and doing what you need to do as a human being?
Well, Henry can break down the science of this. I go to the gym pretty much every morning to work out, and he has a technology called exercise that assists with the curating of certain levels of energy and blood flow. And so when I get there, I put that on. I put it on in my car because he has the technology that allows you can listen to a podcast or you can listen to music at the same time. Soak is playing underneath that. So I have exercise playing.
Right.
So by the time I get to the gym, my body's already acclimated for that. And then I stretch, I get on the treadmill, and it's playing. I still have it playing in the gym, and I actually put it. My trainer makes me a glass of beet juice every morning, and I put the Soaak technology right up against the beet juice. So while I'm working out, those frequencies are going into what I'm about to drink. And so I'm working out, Soaak is playing, even if I can't totally hear it, I know it's there near me, it's in the room. So I do that. So today, I knew I was going to be on a podcast with you both. I've already done my meditation in the morning. And so I put on focus right now. So focus is playing right now, right? It's probably affecting all of us, even though you may not be able to hear it. So it's allowing a level of focus to occur. So I kind of just use it throughout the course of the day. For instance, I have long days, I have meetings and teach classes and things of that particular nature. So at the end of the day, I may have a meeting at 6 or 7 o'clock, and I've already had many things going on. I'll put on high energy, just as an assist to assist me to maintain a level of energy in the meeting I'm about to go into. So it's just kind of a part of my life. So I don't not meditate. I do not exercise. I do not eat good, nutritious food. I do not hydrate. I do all of that. This is a universal technological assist.
Yeah.
In all that I'm called to do. I mean, I did all this stuff before Soaak existed. So now it's an addition to it's like people take supplements, because the earth doesn't carry the same mineral content that it used to have. So people need to supplement to their body too. This is a vibrational supplement
Love it.
to my way of living. That's how I look at it.
That's beautiful.
And I'll tell you this, it works.
We were sharing before that you tried this for a year,
Yeah.
and I had to overcome a lot of upsetness. I thought, why hasn't this guy called me in a year? He's the father of meditation. He's got all the accolades behind him. He's walked the talk, which very few people do, and why hasn't he called me back? But finally, when he did, he said, Henry, do you realize what you have here and what you've assembled? And shared some personal stuff, some stories with me of how it had affected him and his body and some people around him. And I thought, yes, thank God. And then we became brothers from another mother. It was like we were just so friend shaped. Our relationship went deeper than any business venture or anything. When I walked in his office the first time in LA, he walked out and he looked at me and he said, I knew you before I knew you.
Is there a frequency on Soak that helps the earth heal, that helps humanity shift and lift, that we could all be doing together at the same time every day?
Yeah, that's the beauty of Soak. Like Michael said, our technology, you can embed it with anything you're already doing. So if you want to listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook or listen to your favorite music while you're working out, it can be embedded in the background. And just now we have a feature called Find My Frequency. And before we had 30 buckets of frequencies that if you wanted something for depression, anxiety, low energy, hormone imbalance, whatever, you picked it and kind of self-diagnosed. Now we have one button, and this has taken us 5 years to develop, that you press the button and it will read your biometrics. So if you have an Oura Ring or a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or whatever, it'll go in, read your biometrics, your heart rate variability, and your sleep, and say, based on where you're at in the moment, this frequency is for you. So there's not, yeah, and then the AI, we use AI, and the AI comes out and goes into 100 buckets that's not even open to the public, and finds that perfectly personalized frequency just for you. So there's not one frequency that we would ever say, everybody listen to this for coherence, because everybody needs something different. We tried to come up with the technologies that said, okay, based on your differences, this is what Julie needs, this is what Michael needs, this is what Henry needs. Then if we all play those together and become our highest vibrational selves, then the world has to change. It's not that we change the world, but we become what we want to change. So that's the exciting part of where we are now with the technology and with the people around us.
Use Soak to create our own heaven on earth within our own individual lives. And as we all do that, we create a collective heaven on earth.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'll probably use that soundbite from here on out. And if you think about the name, it has to do with the water, like you're soaking in this. You're the water's always been agile or in parallel with the spirit. So whenever I'm on a boat or whenever I'm out in the water, I feel different. I dream different. I am different. When I drink water, we're made up of 80 something percent water. So when you're soaking in this and you lay back and you can soak in it and become that, then you see the changes.
Right. It's like if you go to any of the temples in India or any old churches, there's a vibration in there for the thousands of people that have been praying and praying and praying for years. You can feel it, and it impacts you. It impacts you in a very positive way. This is very similar. And he was talking about water. I mean, our body is mainly water and empty space. And so it's imprinting the water in us so that water then goes through all the systems of the body temple and uplifts it and heals it and detoxifies it. And it's just like going into an ancient temple and feeling the frequency. Here, you're carrying the frequency with you and assisting you in your spiritual practice and intentionality. Yeah.
And when you say the body's made up of so much of water, and I'll do this in 60 seconds, we have trillions of cells in our body, and our cells turn over every 24 hours. It's different. And what soap does is when you hear that next to your cells, it's kind of like the tuning fork. If you hit a tuning fork and it plays a D chord and you hold another one up next to it and you don't touch this one, it will resonate. There's a sympathetic resonance. It'll resonate in sympathy to this one, and it'll resonate a D chord just like this. So Soak is that tuning fork that's been struck, and it's playing this frequency that is digital, so it can't change. And when you play it next to your frequency that can change, because we're made up of mind, will, and emotion, then like Michael said, we resonate at the highest level. So you begin resonating at that higher level, and now I can work out better. Now my depression left. Now my anxiety left. Now my low energy is high energy. And that's what we're feeling. And as you even do something like drinking the water and blessing the water before you drink, I bless this water, and it goes into your body, then all of those cells are changing even that much more rapidly, kind of like a battery. When you charge a battery, you always have water in it, and it helps charge it. So to get charged and to be in charge, you listen to that unrelenting frequency that pulls you up to the highest level. And then as somebody in your family, think about this, as you're at the highest level and vibrating at a higher level because of listening to Soak and doing your meditations and eating and all the things that Michael said, then you raise the vibration of your whole household. You raise the vibration of your kids. You say, my kids won't listen to me. They don't have to listen to you, but they can feel you. You walk in that house as a certain being and turned on at a certain level, at a higher vibratory basis, and your family will change.
I wrote a book on how to hear your intuition more clearly. And that was all the fundamental principle is like, if you're not in the right vibration, you can't hear it because you're not on the right radio station.
100%.
Before I have Henry just let everybody know where we can find Soak and dive into it, Michael, 2 questions. Is there a Agape Center or something like it in Chicago or Chicagoland where I am? And 2, are there any messages that you feel on your heart that just the world needs to hear right now?
We have a sister community in Chicago. It's the Universal Foundation for Better Living.
Okay.
And they have a Christ Universal Temple there in Chicago. It was founded by Dr. Johnny Coleman, and she subsequently has passed over. But the minister that's there now is very powerful. And so we have a similar philosophies, sister
Very cool.
community. Agape, obviously, like Henry was saying, that we're in Agape's in 190 countries as well, primarily through live streaming, our website, agapelive.com, and through our Facebook page and through our YouTube channel. People tune in all around the world and then make Agape a destination point. People will build their vacations and business meetings around coming to Los Angeles to attend a service.
Beautiful.
Or to come in for any special events that we have. We do have satellites, but we don't have an official affiliate in Chicago yet. But the Universal Christ Temple will be the closest thing to it. I want people to know that they're more powerful than they think they are, that oftentimes they feel under siege by the conditions of the world, the human condition, human circumstances, and they need to know that those circumstances are just congealed thoughts that humanity is having. And once they break free and begin to think for themselves, which means inspiration, their own circumstances will begin to change. I say that we're all spiritual astronauts. We carry our own atmosphere with us. And so we begin to carry our own heaven with us.
Ooh.
And as Henry was saying, we become living tuning forks that begin to assist other people to vibrate at that level, sometimes without any conversation. I invite people to try an experiment. You're getting ready to go into a meeting, you're getting ready to go into an environment. Instead of saying, I hope when I go into this environment, it's going to be nice. No. Take nice with you. Before you go into the meeting, bring yourself into a coherence of love and of peace. Bring it with you, hold the space, and then watch as the room starts to vibrate at that level. Why? Because the highest vibration always wins. Why? Science is now showing us all thoughts are not created equal. A thought that emerges from a sense of separation doesn't have the same gain in frequency as a thought that's emerging from a field of love. If you listen to us, you're more powerful than you think you are. There's so much power oozing through you and through your uniqueness. And if you have a modicum of intention, spiritual practice, the right use of technology, meditation, you will make a difference on the planet. And you don't want to leave the planet until you've made the difference that only you can make.
I love that. Michael and Henry, thank you for being here. Henry, tell us where everybody can find Soak and use the word angel to get a discount today.
Yeah, well, it's not just a discount, it's free.
Ooh.
So for 1 month, everybody listening can get Soak for free by going to soak.com, SOAAK. There's an extra A in it. So SOAAK.com/angel. Angel, not angle, like I misspelled one time. The angel will give you the right angle, but don't misspell them. But yeah, just use the promo code ANGEL and get 30 days free. No strings attached. If you love it, keep it. If you don't, leave it. But I know you're going to love it. And you'll see what Michael and I have been talking about today about how it will assist you literally in every area of your life. And it's passive. It's not, you don't have to go somewhere. You should go places. You should relax. They say if you don't have time to meditate for 10 minutes, you need to meditate for an hour.
Mhm.
So, but it's passive, so that if you are kicking around the house or working out or listening to an audiobook, you can do it while you're doing that. But yeah, we want to give your audience 30 days free. Just go to soak.com and use promo code ANGEL, and you're in business.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that beautiful offer. And thank you
Sure.
both for taking time out of your day to be here today. It's just been such a blessing to be here with you both.
Let's do it again.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. And good luck on your trip in Germany. You're going over to Munich.
No, not now. I'm going over to Ghana.
Oh, Ghana.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm going
amazing.
there to celebrate another sister community, the Ethereum Mission, their 50th anniversary. So I'll be speaking there and bringing a traveling group with me to experience that and other things in Ghana.
Very
Amazing.
nice.
I have a
In
book coming out
Germany.
that's going to on meditation in the next
Oh,
couple of
amazing.
months, and it's also being released in German. And so I'll be over
Amazing.
in Germany next year to do a
Nice.
wonderful festival there.
Who's the
Sprechen Sie
publisher for
Deutsch.
that? I'll reach out to them and see if we can get you back on, or if you'd be willing to come back on the show. I'd love to have you
Oh,
back on.
absolutely. I'll have my people reach out to you and give you all the information on it.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much, Michael, and good luck with the opening.
Thank you.
Of
See
course.
ya. Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful day. You too.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Blessings. Beautiful souls, before we close, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for listening, for walking this path of radiant energy oneness alongside me. Your presence means so much. If you feel called to go deeper, there are so many ways that we can journey together. The Angel Reiki School, the upcoming women's retreat, the Angel membership. In September, we begin a brand new course in the Angel membership called Clearly Hear Your Intuition. And in October, we're starting a course called Find Your Purpose in 30 Days. These are soul-shifting, life-changing offerings, and I would love to hold space for you inside them. You can join the Angel membership to receive these courses, or simply purchase them on their own at theangelmedium.com/membership. Or if you want to purchase them on their own, you can go to theangelmedium.com/shop. And now let's take a moment together. I want you to take 3 deep breaths in and out. With each breath, feel love moving through you. Ask your angel the question or questions that are resting on your heart, and then listen. Their whispers arrive as intuition, as knowing, as peace. Friends, if you long to hear your angels more clearly, don't forget I've got a course for this coming up in September where you can really start to hear your intuition more clearly. I'll walk you through step by step. Until next time, friends, breathe, trust, and know that you are never alone. Your angels are always, always, always with you. Love you.